Hi guys, anyone who follows the channel will know that I have been following the New Zealand bad loan situation for a few months now, and it just keeps getting worse and worse, guys. Look at this table from Stats New Zealand, which was released today, the 31st of July, and it shows the non-performing loans data, which are otherwise referred to as bad loans. A loan is only classified as a non-performing loan when more than 90 days pass without the borrower paying the agreed instalments. So for a housing non-performing loan, it means that the person with the mortgage cannot make their agreed mortgage payments to the bank. Eventually, when enough mortgage payments are missed, then the bank has to take action and repossess the home. This home would then normally be sold as a mortgagee sale, and this is absolutely the last resort for the banks. There are currently 76 properties that come up when you put the keyword mortgagee into Trade Me Property. There are also other search terms which pull up some potential mortgagee sales like rating sales, which shows several court-ordered sales hidden amongst the normal homes, and you can look for bank says sell, which implies a mortgagee sale or very close to it. It is also worth noting that the rating sales or court-ordered sales can also contain homes that are being sold because the owner has not paid their council rates. Now this is well worth keeping an eye on too. If you look at this table, the non-performing housing loans total $2,457 million, or to put it another way, $2.457 billion in June 2025, compared to $1.254 billion in June 2023. So that is an increase in bad debt of $1.203 billion in just 2 years. Obviously, the banks don't want the market spooked by lots of mortgagee sales, and they want to keep a lid on the real scale of the delinquencies because there's nothing worse than a raft of mortgagee sales to drag a housing market down. And a falling housing market is very bad for the banks, because this then makes it harder for them to recoup their losses on the sale of any repossessed houses. It does seem incredible that there are only 76 houses for sale listed as mortgagee, but there are $2,457 million worth of bad housing loans. So let's be very generous and assume that each of those 76 houses have an outstanding mortgage on them of $500,000, which is probably far higher than what the actual loans are. That alone just equates to $38 million worth of bad debt. So think about it and compare that $38 million to the true RBNZ reported bad debt figure of $2,457 million. This will give you a real understanding of the games that are at play here. There should be many more mortgagee sales, but the banks are doing everything that they can to try and fend off reality. The banks are extending loan periods and pretending all is rosy, desperately hoping for a massive turnaround in the market that somehow is going to come and save the day. And then they can continue living happily ever after, making billions in profit once again and locking more and more young Kiwis into a lifetime of debt. That is exactly what the banks are there for, isn't it? If we now look at the New Zealand-wide total non-performing loans, which cover not only housing loans but also personal consumer loans, business loans, commercial property loans, agriculture loans, dairy loans and all other loans, it becomes just as apparent that bad debt is growing throughout the economy. Look at the total non-performing loans in June 2025, which is $4,520 million or $4.52 billion, and compare that to June 2023 when it was $2.688 billion. That is an increase of $1.832 billion worth of bad debt in just 2 years. And besides housing loans that we've just looked at before, one non-performing loan type that should really be worrying the RBNZ and the banking sector is the number of non-performing business loans. The non-performing business loans total $1,504 million or $1.504 billion in June 2025, compared to just $575 million in June 2023. That is an increase of $929 million worth of bad business loan debt in just 2 years. So right now it's almost triple what it was just 2 years ago. That is showing some serious stress out there in the business community. I think that this statistic is flying very much so under the radar at present. If businesses are struggling as much as it looks like they are here, then there can be massive knock-on effects. If businesses start failing en masse, then unemployment will keep rising, and if unemployment keeps rising, then people will no longer be able to afford their ridiculously high mortgages, which will cause more bad housing loans. Stats New Zealand currently has the main headline quarterly unemployment rate up to May 2025 sitting at 5.1%, with the next quarterly update not due out till August. Stats New Zealand do have a monthly employment indicator, which was released just a few days ago, which shows in June 2025 compared to June 2024, there were 2.34 million actual filled jobs, down 27,850 jobs, that's 1.2%. Now we'll look at filled job changes by industry. By industry, the largest changes in the number of filled jobs compared with June 2024 were in construction, down 6% or 12,169 jobs. Manufacturing, down 2.5% or 5,850 jobs. Professional, scientific and technical services, down 2.7% or 5,150 jobs. Administrative and support services, down 4.7% or 4,860 jobs. And then you got education and training, which is up 2% or 4,289 jobs. And then we'll look at filled job changes by region. By region, the largest changes in the number of filled jobs compared with June 2024 were in Auckland, down 1.9% or 15,409 jobs. Wellington, down 2.3% or 5,961 jobs. Manawatu, Whangarei, down 1.9% or 2,184 jobs. Hawke's Bay, down 1.6% or 1,278 jobs. And Northland, down 1.1% or 831 jobs. Now if we look at the filled jobs by age group, the largest changes in the number of filled jobs compared with June 2024 were in 15 to 19 years, down 10% or 12,410 jobs. 25 to 29 years, down 3.9% or 9,921 jobs. 30 to 34 years, down 2.8% or 8,081 jobs. 20 to 24 years, down 3.5% or 7,739 jobs. And then you got 35 to 39 years, up 2% or 5,435 jobs. So once again, the young are getting smashed more than everyone else. Why do governments insist on keeping on making life harder for young Kiwis whilst always seeming to make life better for older Kiwis? Do they not realise that this unfairness is just going to keep young Kiwis leaving for Australia? Or do they not care because they can just easily be replaced with pliant foreign workers who are happy to just live in dormitories, receive the minimum wage and then pay 80% of that wage back to their masters for food and accommodation costs? For New Zealand to prosper, there has to be a complete 180 degree in the political class's mindset. The priorities need to be changed as soon as possible. This constant strive for growth is not working. In fact, it is making most Kiwis' lives much worse. The only thing that can save New Zealand for New Zealanders is to accept this fact. Stop importing new people unless they are an actual benefit to society, like nurses or doctors or medical geniuses. Let house prices crash completely and stop pandering to the loudmouth, rich, narcissistic media personalities and the real estate lobbyists and bring some fairness back to New Zealand. If house prices were allowed to crash now, think about any person in the future who wants to take out a mortgage. The loan size would be nowhere near as high as what it is now. Therefore, there's a lot less likelihood that they'll ever become a bad debtor. It's so obvious that these high house prices are destroying New Zealand. This is the only thing that's ever going to stop young Kiwis leaving. Then New Zealand can start again on a totally different path, where the young feel like they are an appreciated part of society who finally can own a home and have some sort of a stake in their country finally. If you disenfranchise a whole generation and always look to be favouring the older, richer part of society, then what you inevitably get is young people who want society to burn because society has betrayed them for no reason. It's not rocket science, guys. So listen, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Maybe even share this video around, and I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers for that.